Yo, what is going on, guys? It's the one and only Football Bro, and today, me and my dad, FootballDAD,
Yo, what's up?
are going to predict the Week 1 of the NFL 2024-2025 season. Now, I think we should get straight into it. So, starting off with the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to choose the Baltimore Ravens because obviously it's a AFC Championship rematch, and I think the Ravens are an improved team than they were last year. They have Derrick Henry now, and I think that the Chiefs don't tend to do well early in the season. I don't know why. So I think that the Baltimore Ravens are going to win. FootballDAD, what do you think?
I'm picking the Chiefs because you're stupid to not pick the Chiefs ever.
Okay, so my dad, he's picking the Chiefs. Next game is the Patriots versus the Bengals. Now, I think the Bengals are going to win because the Bengals are obviously a good team. They have a healthy Joe Burrow. They have Jamar Chase. They have a great defense. They have T. Higgins. And the Patriots, they're just a rebuilding team. They don't even have Drake May starting yet. They just have Jacoby Brissett. I don't see them doing anything this year. FootballDAD?
Bengals, because the Patriots are losers.
Okay, so next up we have the Jaguars versus the Dolphins. And I'm going to go the Miami Dolphins because they have a really good team on paper, even though usually they don't turn out to be great. If you look at their team, they have Tua Tagovailoa, who isn't horrible. He's good. They have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They got Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane at running back. They have a pretty good defense. They got Jordan Poyer, and I think they are a really good football team. FootballDAD, what do you think?
It's Miami because Tua has the coolest name in the NFL.
Okay, next up we have the Texans versus the Colts. And I'm going to go the Texans. Even though I don't think the Colts are going to have a bad year, the Texans were outstanding last year. And everyone was surprised when they made the playoffs. But you can see now how. C.J. Stroud is a star in the making. And now that he's got Stephon Diggs, I think the Texans are going to be even better. FootballDAD?
Texans, because of CJ.
Because of C.J. Stroud. Next up, we got the Chargers versus the Raiders. I'm going to have to go with the LA Chargers because Jim Harbaugh is a really good coach. I mean, he coached for Michigan and they just won the national championship. He coached the 49ers when they made it to the Super Bowl. They didn't win. But he's a really good coach. Justin Herbert, I still think, is a great quarterback. I think Joe Alt might have been a good pick because now Justin Herbert actually has blockers. And they did draft a wide receiver. Plus, their defense is insanely good. They got Derwin James, Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack. So I see them beating the Raiders easily. FootballDAD?
I'm going to flip a coin and call the Chargers.
All right. The power of the coin. So, next up we got the Bears versus the Titans. And I'm going to go the Bears because Caleb Williams is a great prospect, and I think he's going to do really good. He did great in the preseason. I feel like he's a great quarterback. And the Titans, I see this as a rebuilding year for them. They just fired their head coach. I don't really see them doing much. Will Levis, still not proven. We don't know much about him. But the weapons that the Bears have built around Caleb Williams with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift, I think will be enough to win this game. FootballDAD?
I'm going to pick the Bears because they had a good draft and it's time for them to do something.
It is time for them to do something. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons because I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, and I think the Falcons were one quarterback away from being a playoff team. And with the Steelers, they were also one quarterback away, but I don't think Russell Wilson is that quarterback. I also don't think that Justin Fields is much better, and I know they're starting Russell Wilson, but I think he's the worst option. And I just think that it's just going to be a rough year for the Steelers, so I'm going to go the Atlanta Falcons. Football Dad?
I'm going to pick the Steelers because I like them better, and I want to pick someone different than you.
Okay. Now, next up is the Cardinals versus the Bills, and I have to go the Buffalo Bills. Although they may have lost some key players like Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, and they lost Stephon Diggs mainly, and I think they're still a good team because Josh Allen, a lot of people think that Stephon Diggs made him great, but he was good the year before Stephon Diggs came because they literally made the playoffs and beat the Texans. Well, no, they didn't beat the Texans. They lost to the Texans, but they still made the playoffs and went into overtime. But I think the Cardinals are still a bit of a rebuilding team, although I do see some potential, and I see they could perform well now that they have Marvin Harrison Jr. as a weapon for Kyler Murray. But for now, I see the Bills winning. Football Dad?
The Bills, they have a way better team.
All right. Next up, we have the Broncos versus the Seahawks. I have to go with the Denver Broncos because Geno Smith, I think he had one good season. I mean, he was average last season, but he wasn't as good as he was that first season. And he's also getting old, and I feel like he's not that good of a starter. I feel like this might be his last year as a starter. And with the Broncos, I see a lot of potential in Bo Nix. I actually love the pick of Bo Nix because I think he was great in college for Oregon, which is a really good team, a really good school. And also, he's been doing great in the preseason, making amazing throws. And I just think the Broncos might have a pretty good year. Football Dad?
I want the Seahawks to lose, but they're going to win.
Okay. Next up, we have the Cowboys and the Browns. And I think you all know how I feel about the Cowboys. I mean, I'm wearing an Eagles jersey right now. But I think I'm going to have to go for the Cowboys winning because while the Browns are a good team, I mean, they have a good defense with Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, but they technically don't have Nick Chubb yet. He's out for at least 4 games. And I think that the Cowboys are just a better team, especially now that they have CeeDee Lamb back. Football Dad?
It's going to be a close game, but the Browns are going to win.
Ooh. Next up, we have the Jets versus the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers is coming back on Monday Night Football, and I don't think it's enough to win this game. I have to go with the San Francisco 49ers because although I do think the Jets will have a good season, they're the 49ers. Come on, they just made the Super Bowl. And they still have Brandon Ayuk. They still have Deebo Samuel, CMC, Brock Purdy. An outstanding defense. It's hard to bet against them. Football Dad?
Aaron Rodgers is going to be injured after 4 plays, and the 49ers are going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a very pessimistic Jets fan. Anyway, next up is my Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers in Brazil. So that will be fun. I have to go with my Eagles here. I mean, the Packers are a good team, but I don't think they're a great team. Jordan Love has potential, but we can't base everything off 1 year. His weapons aren't the best. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, we don't know much about them, really. He got Josh Jacobs, and their defense is pretty good, but I think that all around, the Eagles are one of the best teams in the NFL. Football Dad?
The Eagles choke and lose the game.
That's a horrible pick, so we're just going to move on. We have the Panthers versus the Saints. Now, I do think the Panthers are going to be a not horrible team, and I think that the Saints are going to be a horrible team. And I'm going to make the unpopular opinion with all the moves they've been making. They got Deontay Johnson. They drafted Xavier Legette. I think Bryce Young has been showing sparks in the preseason. I have to go with the Carolina Panthers here. I just think that they will have a bounce back year. Football Dad?
You're wrong. It's the Saints.
Okay. Next up, we have the Vikings versus the Giants. I think the Giants, either them or the Patriots, are going to be the worst team in the league. So I'm going to go the Vikings. Although J.J. McCarthy is unfortunately injured and out for the season, and they have to run with Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold is 10 times better than Daniel Jones will ever be. The Giants are a horrible team. They just suck, and they just don't have a good roster. Even Giants fans, come on, you have to agree with me. They're just not good. Football Dad?
The Giants are going to lose every game, including this one.
Okay. You heard it here, folks. The Giants are losing every single game according to Football Dad. Now, next up, we have the Washington Commanders versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This might be one of the worst games in the entire week because the Commanders are not a great team, and the Bucs, although they made the playoffs, I don't see them making the playoffs again. I think I'm going to have to go with the Washington Commanders just because I think Jaden Daniels might have the best rookie season, and I think he could win Offensive Rookie of the Year because he kind of reminds me of Robert Griffin III when he was drafted by the Redskins at the time. He performed really well throughout the season, and I think Jaden Daniels is very similar, but I think he might also be a better thrower than RG3 was, so I have to go with the Commanders. Football Dad?
The Buccaneers are going to win. You're going to be surprised.
Okay, I hope I am surprised because I don't want the Commanders to win. Last but not least, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Rams, a rematch of the wild card match just last postseason. Now, I like the Rams. I love their team. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. But the problem is they lost Aaron Donald, and who knows if Stafford is still going to be good or if he's going to start regressing. So I think the Rams might have a good year. But I think just looking at the Lions, they still have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They still have Jahmyr Gibbs. They got Jared Goff, who's amazing. And they just have a great team all around. So I see the Lions winning this game. Football Dad?
Two good teams. I think the Rams are going to do it.
Think the Rams are going to do it?
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
Because I think they may get the best record of the NFC this year.
Ooh, wow. That's a hot take. But that will do it. Just so you see, these are my predictions, and these are Football Dad's predictions. So that's all for this video, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications for more videos just like this. And if you want a different video idea, make sure to write it in the comments and I will hopefully read it and maybe make a video on it. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.